Hi everyone, Murphy Girl here, and welcome to Tuesday afternoon Choochin after our Martin Luther King holiday. Who knew? When I woke up this morning, I told you guys we were going to get battered by those storms. It was pouring rain. I could barely get out to my car today. It was so flooded on the driveway. And who knew? By 3 o'clock in the afternoon when I stepped out from work, that the sun would be out and it would be about 69 degrees. Look at that green all around. If that doesn't tell you spring is on the way. And the good news about living in Northern California is that our spring really begins in the second week of February. It's not to say we don't get cold spells, but the almond trees come into bloom and the apricots, and you can see standing water there. We've almost reached 100% of our normal average annual rainfall. We still have a big deficit from the drought, but at least we're not going to be under the amount of rainfall that we have for an average year, because we've been in a terrific drought situation. And I think the spigot's going to stay turned on at least through the end of January. So maybe we're getting normalized with the El Nino, but boy, is it nice to have these little breaks in there. One of the things that I do regularly on a weekly basis now is do the economic forecasting, and I'll have people talk and sort of some economic analysis, and I'll have feedback during the week on that. And there's a lot of people turning decidedly negative on the economy and things now, and I was reading a message when I got home from work today. I took a couple minutes just to check my messages, and a guy was like, "What good things ever come out of bad times?" He's like, "Rosie, I feel so lousy right now. I mean, I still have a job, but I look at the state of the world and I just feel so crappy right now." And I thought to myself, that's a really good point. What comes out of tough times? And the answer really is, what comes out of tough times is good times. And I know that sounds ridiculous, like the sun follows comes up in the east and sets in the west. But the reality is, if you didn't have bad times, A, you wouldn't have any yardstick to even know that you were in good times, and B, there has to be something to set the table for what I call base of prosperity. And right now we don't have that in this country. We've had this fictitious recovery from 2008 built on all this Fed quantitative easing and all the people's expectations that things are going to go right back to the way they were again. And well, is this another potential treasure over here? Somebody dropped off a look at that, huh? Could be somebody's lucky day. A monitor, eh? With the cord. What do you know, guys? Normally I might take that VGA cord, but seems like it's hardwired into the back of the unit. But one of the things that's going on now is that you're bringing out some of the excesses, a lot of the excesses that built up and caused so many economic dislocations that led us to where we are today. The ridiculous buildup of student loan debt, the ridiculous everybody should own a home mantra of the federal government, starting under Bill Clinton with the liar loans and no money down loans and all that nonsense that led us to build the big bubble. Then all the supposed control of OPEC and the oil market, when the reality is the invisible hands of a free market will not be denied. In other words, it's like putting a couple rocks in the pathway of a stream. Yes, you may temporarily dam up the stream and give the appearance that you're in control, but guess what's going to happen? Sooner or later that water's going to rise and overtop it, go around it. And once again, the river will show who's boss, and that's exactly the way economic free markets work. Through the greed of taking oil prices from basically $20, $25 a barrel in 1989, 90, up to $150 a barrel, OPEC in effect slit their own throat. Their own unfettered greed and supposed control of the oil market led all kinds of people out there to work on bettering solar power, to look for other choices, other areas of oil, like the back in oil shale production. There was just a lot of things that came out of that. You know, economy and cars, and insulating houses, and really starting to be very careful. Very careful with the use of energy. And as a result, at the end of the day, OPEC just priced themselves right out of orbit, and as a result we have, well, collapsing commodity markets, which of course equals a collapsing economy. So on the upside, the future will probably be built on a much saner pricing structure. You know how many things are tied to the price of oil in this country and the manufacture of things? So getting things down to a solid base where people can move forward and be productive with normalized free markets is the best thing that can happen to the world. And every time some kook comes along, like a, you know, and says, well, I got a better way, and equal distribution of wealth, and just remember what they say in said in the communist countries before the fall of the Iron Curtain. When asked to define communism, their answer was equal misery for all. And isn't that the truth? And the same could be said for socialism too, for a big way. So to you guys, I say that's the upside, that's the beauty of a downside, of a downtrending economy, is sooner or later you get down to such a bedrock basis of strength and rock solid granite that there's no more moving down, and from then on it's up, up, up into a new future, courtesy of free markets. Anyway guys, thanks for watching today. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and I hope you enjoyed the sunshine with me. Thanks so much for watching.